And the door, I remember the door of her living room was open. It was smaller than this, the living room. You remember we went there for that Ganesh Puja in '82, Fergie? Got photos of you there. Quite a small living room. Anyway, she had a sort of garden door at the back, and I remember, and Felicity was there. And I remember sort of hovering at the back, and I just looked at Mother, and she was sitting on the sofa with the window behind her, and she was wearing a beautiful red sari. You know, she had so much hair in those days. And I just remember thinking, my God, this is who I've been looking for all my life. What went wrong, you know? Where did I get waylaid? And I just thought, this is the one. And she just said, come here. And I remember just walking straight up to her and kneeling at her feet and putting, and she, you know, she used to have us put her head, our forehead on her feet, which I did. And then she sort of would put her toes up a little bit, indicating for you to sort of sit up in front of her. And she, that's right, and while I had my head on her feet, I mean, there was, forget Chakrachali, forget the introductory talks, I mean, it was just straight to Mother's feet. And when I was on her feet, I saw this image of a lady riding on a tiger with this wonderful hair and red sari and with all these weapons in her hands. You see, it was Durga, but I didn't sort of, I mean, I sort of realised because I knew quite a bit about the Indian tradition. But Mother said to me, she said, what did you see? And I said, I said I saw a lady with, on a tiger, and she had all these weapons, and she had this wonderful hair, and she had this red sari. And she looked at me and she said, yes, that's me, but in another lifetime you're very super conscious. And that was my introduction to surgery. So I had no problems, like most of the people in this room, realising who I was in front of. But considerable problems after that. I would like to say one thing about Greshner actually though, which came to my head. When we got Chelsham Road sometime later, I had enough money down to £150. I mean, if we have time I can tell a bit about that story, but literally I bought that place for cash with 10p in the bank, because again there was this bankruptcy court sitting on my head, but somehow I managed to get enough money to buy Chelsham Road for cash. It was £41,000, rather cheap compared to what it's worth today, but and none of us had any money, and Trimaji wanted to come, you see, because we had this Bhumi Puja, and we just didn't have the money to buy any money for food. And I clearly remember, I don't know if you remember Gretchen this, but I remember sitting around the kitchen table upstairs there, and I was saying, what are we going to do? Because none of us got any money. We've got to buy enough money for a meal, because the people are all coming and Mother's going to expect a meal. And Gretchen had disappeared that afternoon. And I remember you coming back and putting £100 on the table, which was quite a lot of money in 1980. And it was enough for us to buy the food. And I said, Krishna, where on earth did you get that money? Because you were an illegal immigrant at that point, working with no work permit. I mean, the rest of us could at least go on the dole if things push come to shove. And Krishna said, well, I took my bracelets to the gold exchange. And of all of us, you were the one who came up with the money for that first food, and I shall never forget that. I thought, my God, here's a real Sahaja. I mean, I was blessed with a bit of money to buy the place, although I had no money over for food. I bought the house, but I had no money to buy food. But Krishna was the one who really came up trumps, and I shall never forget that moment. And of course, Mother came, but that's another story. Okay, anyway, but it was, I was very super conscious.
That's a fantastic range of stories there. I mean, obviously.